Welcome back to Heroes on Our Island. I'm Christine Persichetti. John Fiel of Wisconsin, a construction worker turned 9/11 first responder, has become one of the most outspoken advocates for injured 9/11 first responders. And fortunately for them, this man does not back down from a challenge.
I'm never the smartest man in the room, ever. But what I bring to the table is the ability not to accept no for an answer.
John Fiel was once a little-known construction worker. Then 9/11 happened. Now his name is known from the streets of Wisconsin to the halls of Congress.
I didn't need 9/11 to know right from wrong. I needed 9/11 to show everybody how my mother raised me. And never disrespect anybody, but if there's a fight, then I'm going to be the one leading that fight.
And he did that by starting a foundation called Feel Good Foundation, which comes to the aid of 9/11 first responders. John is a 9/11 first responder himself. He was at Ground Zero on September 12th and for days after until a horrifying injury.
Roughly 8,000 pounds of steel crushed my left foot. The guy next to me fainted because blood was shooting out of my foot.
He spent 11 weeks in the hospital fighting for his life after developing gangrene. But once he was better, he still had a fight on his hands.
Then I started fighting for my own benefits, but I was getting denied. And I was like, why? This is something that I paid into working my whole life to this point, and I'm being denied.
John says it was just a lot of bureaucratic red tape, and he says while he didn't beat the system, he did learn how to navigate it.
And when people found out who were going through the same thing I was known as that guy who could help get benefits. And if John Smith had a workman's comp hearing, I showed up at his hearing, minus his lawyers, it didn't matter, but I brought 9/11 responders there. And sooner or later, the judges and the commissioners and the lawyers are like, oh, Fiel's here with his crew. And those cases got expedited and they got done and resolved.
That's when he started his foundation to help anyone who needed it.
To me, suffering. So if you have a broken finger or stage 4 cancer, I'm going to go to bat for you 110% either way.
One person John and his foundation have helped is Ken George. Ken was forced to retire from the City Highway Department at the age of 42 after his illness prevented him from being able to do the job. He says he got sick after spending months down at Ground Zero helping out with the search and rescue and then cleanup.
Did you think about, gosh, I could get sick here?
Never thought of that, honestly. God, never even thought about that. They had people down there checking the air and he said it was good.
Ken says he started coughing right away. His doctor told him it was bronchitis.
Gave me medicine, I went back to the pile, thinking it was just a regular cold, Never realizing what was ahead of me. The beast woke up, kicked me right in the butt for sure. Besides heart problems now, because of the medication I was taking, the steroids blowing up my weight, my lung disease, post-traumatic stress, what's next?
He now takes more than 30 pills a day. So with mounting medical costs on top of his normal everyday bills, he had to cut back in other areas. That's when the Feel Good Foundation stepped in. John and the foundation were also instrumental in getting 3 bills passed in Congress. One of them, the Zadroga bill, which he spent years fighting for.
Many people don't realize what it took to get that bill done. I took a lot of guys away from their families. We walked the halls of Congress days at a time, sometimes 20, 25, 30 meetings a day.
Ken was there many times, but he says without John, it would never have passed.
John was like a little pit bull, like Captain America. He was, just shorter.
The Zadroga Act provides money for the health care of 9/11 first responders. It also provides compensation for them. And even though Ken, like many others, still hasn't seen that money, he's counting on it to help his family pay the bills when he's gone. Because John says that's the reality for 9/11 first responders.
It's a community that's getting smaller. People are getting sicker and dying.
But they're not being forgotten. John spent a lot of his own money to create the 9/11 Responders Remembered Park in Wisconsin. It opened in 2010 with the names of just 20 first responders who died after 9/11 etched on the wall. Now there are around 300. He spends a lot of time here. Otherwise, he's in his office because his work isn't done. The Zadroga Act expires in 2016. That makes Ken nervous.
People didn't even get their first checks yet, and 16 is right around the corner. And like I said, it's just a shame that People have to die not knowing if their family's taken care of. That's the worst part. And that scares me too, because you want to make sure that your wife don't have to go out in the street, you know, or your kid's gonna go hungry or homeless. You know, that's the part.
But John is going to do everything he can to make sure that doesn't happen.
We have to ensure that the bill stays open and running past 2016. That means we have to go back to DC. But not this time. Not this time. Like, we begged, we pleaded, we asked, we cried, and we literally had to kiss congressional butt to get that last bill passed. And this time we're going back there and demanding and telling them this is what we want.
In May, John tells us he added 92 names to the wall at the park, and unfortunately, there's more to come.